Welcome to Fond Emotion. What if we could live a life devoid of complaints? A thought-provoking question indeed. But before we delve into that, let's take a moment to consider the power of positivity. Positivity is not just a state of mind, it's a lifestyle. It's the lens through which we view our world, shaping our experiences and our reactions to them. When we adopt a positive attitude, we open ourselves up to endless possibilities. Imagine for a moment a life completely free of complaints. It might seem like an impossible feat, but what if we told you that it's more achievable than you think? It all starts with positivity. Positivity is the antidote to negativity. It's like a powerful light that dispels the darkness of complaints, discontent, and dissatisfaction. It's the key to unlocking a life of joy, fulfillment, and success. When we choose positivity, we are essentially choosing happiness, peace, and prosperity. But what does a life without complaints actually look like? It's a life where challenges are viewed as opportunities, where setbacks become stepping stones, and where problems transform into possibilities. It's a life where adversity doesn't deter us, but rather, it strengthens our resolve. In this life, we are no longer victims of our circumstances, but rather, we become the architects of our own destiny. We don't just survive, we thrive. We rise above our difficulties with grace and resilience, propelled by the power of positivity. Now, maintaining a positive attitude in the face of adversity is not always easy. It requires courage and determination, but the rewards are worth it. Positivity can enhance our personal well-being, boost our confidence, and pave the way for success in every sphere of life. So let's take a moment to reflect. How often do we let our complaints cloud our vision? How often do we let negativity hold us back from reaching our true potential? It's time to break free from these shackles and embrace the power of positivity. Imagine how a shift in perspective could transform your entire life. Just imagine. Meet John, a man whose life was once filled with complaints. John was your regular guy, living an ordinary life. But there was one thing that set him apart from the crowd. He had a knack for seeing the glass half empty, rather than half full. His life was like a dark room where the light of positivity could hardly penetrate. Complaints were his comfort zone. Every morning John would wake up with a groan, complaining about the alarm that shattered his dreams. His breakfast was never satisfying, always too cold or too hot, too bland or too salty. He'd complain about his job, about the traffic, about the weather. Nothing was ever good enough for John. His constant complaints began to create a ripple effect, seeping into his relationships. Friends distanced themselves, tired of his constant negativity. His colleagues at work, initially sympathetic, started to avoid him. John's world was shrinking, and he was the architect of his own isolation. Even his relationship with his family began to suffer. His wife, a beacon of positivity, tried to uplift his spirits, but the cloud of negativity around John was too thick. His children, once excited to share their day with him, would now hesitate, fearing his critical remarks. John's work life was no different. His constant complaints about his job, his colleagues, and his boss created an atmosphere of discomfort around him. He was passed over for promotions not because he lacked talent or dedication, but because his negativity was seen as a liability. His health wasn't spared either. With each passing day, the stress from his negative attitude started to take a toll on his body. He'd complain about aches and pains, little realizing that they were the manifestations of his own negative thoughts. In the solitude of his own company, John was unhappy. He was stuck in a cycle of negativity, unable to see the beauty of life that lay beyond his complaints. His happiness was overshadowed by the clouds of discontentment, and he was the only one who could clear the sky. John's life was a constant struggle, a relentless battle against his own perspective. He was drowning in a sea of complaints, blind to the life raft of positivity that floated nearby. His existence became a symphony of complaints, a melody of dissatisfaction that played on repeat, but as they say, it's always darkest before the dawn. John's life was a constant struggle until one day, something changed. One day, John decided he had had enough of his own negativity. It was a day like any other, but this day was different because John made a conscious decision that would change his life. He decided to stop complaining. He realized that his constant grumbling was only fueling his unhappiness, and decided it was time for a change. Making the decision was the easy part. The real challenge was in implementing it. Changing a habit, especially one as deeply ingrained as complaining, is no easy feat. John was tested time and time again. Every time he was stuck in traffic, every time his coffee was cold, every time the weather was less than perfect, his first instinct was to complain. But each time, he reminded himself of his decision. He chose to see the silver lining instead of dwelling on the cloud. John found that maintaining a positive attitude required conscious effort and constant vigilance. He had to actively seek out the good in every situation, no matter how bleak it seemed. He had to train his mind to focus on the positives, rather than the negatives. It was a struggle, but John was determined. He was committed to his decision to stop complaining. And as he continued on this journey, John began to notice some changes. He started to feel happier, lighter. His relationships improved as his conversations were no longer dominated by complaints but by positive discussions. He found that he was more appreciative of the little things in life. He noticed the beauty around him that he had previously overlooked because he was too busy complaining. His world was the same, but his perspective had changed. John's transformation was not an overnight one. It took time, patience, and a lot of self-discipline. There were days when he stumbled, when the old habit of complaining tried to sneak back in, but he didn't let those moments discourage him. He saw them as opportunities to learn and grow, to strengthen his resolve. John's life began to change in ways he never expected. He was happier, more content, and more appreciative. He found joy in the simplest things. He found peace in moments of silence. He found strength in his own positivity. He found a new way of living, a way that was free from complaints. John's transformation was a testament to the power of positivity. It showed that it's not the circumstances that make us unhappy, but our reaction to them. It showed that a positive attitude can change not only our perspective, but our entire life. John's life was no longer dominated by complaints but by gratitude and positivity. He had made a decision, faced the challenges, and emerged victorious. He had transformed his life not by changing the world around him but by changing his view of it. And in doing so, he found a happiness that was deep, genuine, and enduring. John's transformation had a profound impact not only on his life but also on those around him. His relationships flourished like never before. The constant stream of negativity had been replaced by an invigorating wave of positivity, bringing a sense of harmony and understanding to his interactions. His colleagues at work began to notice the shift. The office environment had transformed from a place of tension to a sanctuary of positivity. John's attitude sparked a ripple effect, inspiring others to shrug off their own complaints and engage in constructive conversations instead. His newfound perspective was infectious, promoting a healthier, more vibrant work culture. But the impact did not stop there. Friends, family, even casual acquaintances were captivated by John's radiant energy. They too began to question the need for complaints in their lives, paving the way for their own transformations. John's story is a testament to the power of positivity. John's story isn't just a tale of personal transformation, but a lesson for us all. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key points of his journey. John, like many of us, was once caught in the whirlwind of negativity and complaints. But he made a choice to embrace positivity and to shun complaints. This decision didn't just change his life, it transformed it. A positive attitude was his armor against adversities, his beacon in times of darkness. And living without complaints? It's not about ignoring the challenges of life, rather it's about choosing to focus on the solutions, the opportunities that these challenges present. John's story is a testament to the power of positivity and the liberating potential of a complaint-free life. Remember, it's not the circumstances that define us, but how we respond to them. A life without complaints isn't just possible, it's within our reach. All it takes is a shift in perspective. Thank you for watching.